What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW on TNT review for February. I keep wanting to say February, I don't know why, but April the 28th, 2021, the go-home final week before AEW presents us for the first time in what was supposed to happen last year, Blood and Guts. I still don't know how they're going to make this work in the confines of Daily's Place. Honestly, I think they should do with the football field, have Blood and Guts there, have more fans, because honestly, this is a type of match that I would love to see in front of a full crowd, but we're not getting in front of a full packed house. So we had Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage. We had the Young Bucks versus Matt and Mike Sydal, really good match. We also had Orange Cassidy versus Penta El Zero Miedo, which the Hangman Adam Page match and the Orange Cassidy match have some things in common that really leads to what could be leading up to later down the line. We had the Pinnacle versus innercircle parlay. Michael Nakazawa gets destroyed by Eddie Kingston as him and Jon Moxley pretty much get what they want when it comes to Kenny Omega. Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander. Miro actually having a confrontation with Kip Sabian and what's next for them. The Factory versus the Nightmare Family. And the main event, we have Darby Allin versus 10 for the TNT Championship. And I'll give my thoughts on how that match went. So, we start off with Hangman Adam Page versus FTW Champion Brian Cage. Before the match even happens, Team Taz come out. They beat up on Hangman Adam Page. Cage powerbombs him on the stage. Ow. And then throws him into the ring. Hangman got maybe one or two, maybe three offensive moves in. And Brian Cage wins with the drill claw. What in the little fuck was this? If you want to have, it's like, oh, Brian Cage gets a statement win. Okay, fine. But what did you prove? He can beat Hangman Adam Page because his buddies beat him up? What the fuck was that? Like, you've been touting for weeks how Hangman Adam Page is the number one contender, the number one guy in the rankings list, the next in line for the World Championship, and you just beat him as if he was nothing. Now people are going to say, oh, well, they had the beatdown happen so they can get away with that. Bullshit! There is absolutely no fucking way you should be beating Hangman Adam Page. If that's the way you're going with Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing, why in the hell would you sit here and call this match to go that way? Why would you even have him lose? It makes no sense. Just some of the dumbest shit I could have seen on this company pull out. You just can't have one good show that's 100% from top to bottom. You always got to have some kind of fuck up. Again, Hangman Adam Page gets beat as if he was nothing. I mean, yeah, if the next championship match is going to be Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega, then okay, you have him beat Hangman Adam Page, and then you have Hangman Adam Page need to find his way back in and build towards All Out. But I don't know why you would. I just don't see another reason why you would do what you did here. So we move on here. We see Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Good Brothers, and Don Callis hanging out in a limo. Callis celebrates Omega's big title win. Of course, Omega did not have the championship with him because this was taped last week. But they already knew going into this taping that Kenny Omega was winning against Rich Swann. We'll see that probably the next time we see them on television, because next week is the big Blood and Guts, and of course they'll tape the week after that. Omega says he's feeling great, but also kind of pissed off. Omega says he didn't appreciate what Kingston and Moxley did to the private trailer when he drove a truck into it. Says they will not be brought down a notch. Do they have this actually? Hold on. My words don't do this any justice. Yes, we do. Okay. Let me give them You can hear from them.
Get in here, Mark.
Get him some pants.
Yeah,
he needs some pants. He's gonna stick to the leather. He's gonna stick to the leather.
Nice and smooth.
Why is Carl Anderson not wearing any pants? Can someone answer that one to me?
Let's celebrate. This is great. 6 grown men in the back of a limousine. Doesn't get any better than that.
Nope.
Kenny Omega, gentlemen, the new Impact World Champion. So many belts. We had to get a follow car just to carry the hardware. The Good Brothers are here. Carl doesn't have his pants on. And we got the Young Bucks, the World Tag Team Champions. You guys got the Seidel Brothers. Can't wait to jump on commentary for that. Doesn't get any better.
Cause for celebration, boy, I'm feeling real giddy. I'm feeling real freaky today. But I'm also feeling a little pissed off. And why is that, you're probably wondering? Well, it's because I thought about last week. I thought about the intimidation factor. I thought about what happened to our trailer that we spent with our hard-earned money last week when John Moxley and Eddie Kingston drove a truck into the Elite trailer, trying to injure us, possibly trying to end our lives. And look, we're used to it. We're used to non-sport, numbnut people, whether it be fans, whether it be wrestlers, whether it be management, trying to take us down a notch. It's not going to happen because everywhere we go, the gold follows. Everywhere we go, the money follows. This week will be like every other week. The next week will be like every other week because we're not going to be intimidated and we're not going to be scared.
I ain't scared
at all. I'm not afraid.
No.
And what you did last week has left me feeling unfazed. So read my lips and look into my eyes. I am not afraid.
Hey, whoa, what the hell was that?
Are they there?
I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button.
Hey, look, hey, listen to me. And you listen to me carefully, you mother father. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. You want to fight? We'll give you a fight. We'll give you a damn good fight. Eddie Kingston, you want any one of us? You want me? We're going to get one of our goons first. Michael Nakazawa. He'll see you later on tonight. We'll see just how tough you really are, Buster. Yeah, you think you're so tough? Try your hand at Nakazawa, huh?
No, Horn won't be the only thing beating tonight.
That's right.
So, yeah, there you go. Kenny Omega just laying it out. Definitely, he's getting, this is definitely coming a lot better. I mean, keep Don Callis off the mic because he seems to just bring it down, in my opinion. And then we go to the Young Bucks versus Matt and Mike Sydal. This was a good match. If Matt and Mike Sydal was able to beat the Young Bucks by pinfall submission, count out, or disqualification, they would get a title match. They'd be the next in line. So, this was really good. Of course, you have 4 guys going out there for the best, and it was definitely interesting. Especially the way it ended, because Matt Hardy. You had a Hurricane Rana by Nick. Matt Jackson slips under and Sydal goes down hard, which was fucking horrendous looking. Mike tags in, tries for a kick, but Nick gets the referee distracted. Matt goes down Johnny Cage style with the split leg into the blow punch, double super kicks, BTE trigger, 1, 2, 3, and the Bucks get the win. Definitely was a good match. I know a lot of people are there's some people out there who aren't liking the way the Young Bucks are going right now. I know that it's like you turn heel and your fashion sense just goes out the window. I thought heels were the ones who come out looking sharp and dapper. No, the Young Bucks come out, you had one of them wearing this fucking, looked like a sleeping mask or something on top of his head. Looked really stupid, but yeah, Young Bucks got the win. After the match, you had SCU.
Hey, Mr. Mitchell, my friend in the truck, do me a favor and please turn this music off.
Wow, Frank Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, we're two of the Young Bucks' oldest friends.
We don't have security in this building?
Do we need it?
If we had, Don, you wouldn't be here. Hey, Matt, if you have something to say, now's a perfectly good time to keep it to yourself. Seems there's a lot of change lately. We got the new Young Bucks, new attitudes, new questionable wardrobe decisions. One thing that has not changed is a promise I made last December. I said that the next time CD and I lost as a tag team, we'd be finished as a tag team.
Which, if you don't watch AEW Dark, you probably would have missed that back in December. Yes, and back in December on Dark, I believe it was. Yes, it was Dark. They made this promise in this pack that the next time they lose a tag team match, they're done as a tag team. Which is coming very, very soon, especially since they're coming up against the Young Bucks here very soon.
We stand here right now, undefeated, #1 contenders, and what we represent is the biggest threat to those tag team titles you've ever faced. But right now, all I am is pissed. All I am is furious because I was looking forward to wrestling my friends, but when I look at you, I don't see my friends. I see entitled, overdressed bitches. Let me tell you something, Matt. This new attitude sucks. And instead of just beating your ass, maybe we should take the one thing that matters the most to you, those titles. And now that we're the #1 contenders, we don't have to wait much longer. When you both find your balls and you sign the dotted line, we're going to take them and we're going to make this company a better place with you assholes out of it.
Wow, very well said. Tony, SCU saying what we're all thinking. Hey.
Yep, and that match is coming up probably soon, maybe Double or Nothing. It was not announced for next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, which we have a big match coming up in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so when this match happens, and it's going to happen, I can see this going one of two ways. SCU wins the tag team titles, go on a nice little winning streak for a good bit, and then when they lose the tag team titles, that's it. But it's either that or they lose, and that's it. Maybe 1-2, maybe, because honestly, I think Christopher Daniels on his last legs as a performer. You can definitely tell in some of his matches how he's just his age is catching up to him, and he ain't got much time left. So, yeah, a tag team match for the tag team titles would be the perfect way for them to call it a time as their as a tag team. Then we got more bullshit with Jade Cargill pretty much pretending like she actually means something to the business right now. This bitch has been on has had 4 matches in her career. I think 4. And she hasn't been impressive in any of them. And you have JR on TV saying she is a main event caliber player. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind, JR? Have you had way too much of your barbecue sauce? Little bit too much Steve Weisers or something in the back? Because the bitch has only had like 4 matches, hasn't been impressing, and you think she's a main event player? I know JR says nobody's in his ear, but I call bullshit. That's definitely, like, if he actually believes that Jade Cargill, in her career right now, is a main event player, there's probably a reason why Vince McMahon took you off of the talent relations gig when he did, because, my goodness, you are way off base with that. Orange Cassidy versus Penta El Zero with Alex Abrahantes, and of course Trent is in Orange Cassidy's corner. I guess Chuck Taylor wasn't around for these tapings. Haven't seen him on either one of these nights. So, of course, Cassidy's trying to put his hands in his pocket from the beginning. Penta keeps stopping him. He does the Zero Miedo a couple times. And then we have ourselves a match. Cassidy removes the shades, and you know when he removes the shades, he gets serious. Cassidy finally gets his hands in his pockets, light kicks, avoids Penta, and lands a few strikes. And this was just a typical Orange Cassidy match with Penta just being Penta. This was great. Now, Penta hits a Canadian Destroyer, tries for a package power driver. That gets reversed into a beach break. Penta's able to get his shoulder up, though. Penta with a bunch of strikes all over Cassidy, stomping in the corner. Huge low kick to Cassidy's head. Penta looks for the finish, reversed into a Stun Dog Millionaire. Cassidy hits a diving DDT off the top rope. Big swinging DDT cover. Abrahantes gets on the mic for the distraction. Talks and says, if you think what I said about Trent's mom was bad, Cassidy grabs him, yanks him into the ring. Penta with the shot from behind. Package power driver. Nope. Trent hands the microphone to Penta as Alex Abrahantes has the referee distracted. Big orange punch with the microphone. 1, 2, 3. Turnabout is fair game. As you know, Trent got beat last week with the microphone assistance. This week, it cost them. So, guess who was number 2 in the rankings coming into this week? Orange Cassidy. Hangman Adam Page just lost to Brian Cage in a way that I don't agree with, but it happened. Thus making Orange Cassidy, by default, number 1 in the rankings. Well, are we gonna get that? Kenny Omega Orange Cassidy match in the near future? I do not know. I know a lot of people would love to see it. I don't see him if that would happen. I don't see that going Cassidy's way, him being AEW champion. It would be funny for a TV main event, maybe. But, yeah, we'll see what that goes there. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Britt Baker, who's in a very good mood. She says she was going to work her way up in the rankings. That's exactly what she did. The Faker says she's the top of merch sales. I don't buy that. Demos and rankings. Demos, I don't buy that. Rankings is only because they disrespect Thunder Rosa every single week. Baker says when it comes to the current champion, she needs to remind everyone why she's the face of the company. Which, it's one thing for the Faker to tell herself that she's the face of the company, which anybody should have that kind of mentality. But when you have JR, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur calling her the face of the company when she's not the women's champion, that's a slap in the face of your champion. Who's the face of the men's division? Kenny Omega. Who's the face of the tag team division? The Young Bucks. Who's the face of the TNT Championship right now? The face of the brand? Darby Allin. You wouldn't sit there and say, oh, Ethan Page wants to be TNT Champion. He's the face of the brand. Oh, the FTR says they're the best tag team in the world. They're the face of the tag team division. John Moxley's one of the best in the business. He's the face of the team of the men's division. No. So why is the Faker continuously being called the face of the women's division when she hasn't been champion at all? It makes no fucking sense, and it's a real slap in the face of everything of your women's champion. Shida is the face of the women's division, whether you like it or fucking not. I know this isn't going to have it all on here, but we're going to get what we can. Next, we had the parlay for the inner circle and the pinnacle. Let's see how much they have on here.
They would hope for a little bit of decorum here during this parlay. It'll be 2 rings. It'll start with a 5-minute period, one-on-one. Then every 2 minutes, another member from each will come in. They will alternate until all 10 men are in the ring. And then it will be submission or surrender. We're going to find out in this parlay.
Okay, so if anybody doesn't realize that, he did not say pinfall or submission. He said pinfall or surrender. Oh, they do have the whole thing on YouTube. Good. Surrender means there is no pinfall. There is no pinfall in this match. I know if you've never seen War Games before, and you've only seen the ones that WWE has done over the last four years or so, where it's pinfall, submission, no escaping, whatever, that's not a real War Games match. Blood and Guts is going to be a real War Games match.
Not going to be no damn coin toss. We deserve the advantage because we were lured into this match. So advantage, Pinnacle. And in return, a warning. This doesn't end well for you, boys. You are looking at 5 men who are willing to bleed and sacrifice everything for each other. I look across this ring and I do not see the same. And when the hell was the last time you even wrestled a match, Sammy? Are you even ready? Look at me! That guy right there is leading you into very, very deep water, Sammy. And in 1 week, I'm the guy who's gonna step on your head while you're drowning.
Spears, I don't believe you. And simply, why should I? Huh? Why should I, man? Ever since you came into AEW, you've been a failure. And actually, Spears, the more I think of it, you were a failure where you used to work too.
Ooh, burned by Sammy Guevara.
And here's the thing. All y'all need to know, May 5th, you're gonna fail again, buddy. Because I don't care if it's 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1. You want the damn advantage? You got it. I'll start the damn thing and I'll fight every single one of you. I'll start with the damn popcorn guy. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna fight everybody.
So we get 2 confirmations in this little promo right here so far. Pinnacle is going to have the advantage. They are the heels. That's the traditional for a War Games. Even though WWE has matches and other things for their find out who the advantage is, most of the time the heels get the advantage. That's the way to go. I mean, I know they went the opposite way for the Women's War Games match this past November, which was a fucking dumb thing to do. But yes, they're getting the advantage, and Sammy Guevara will start for his team. The Pinnacle does not tell us who starts their portion, who's going to start for them.
All right, if I got this right, it looks like the Pinnacle wins the parlay. They're going to have the advantage.
May 5th, I'm asking you, man to man, right here, with sincerity, please do not bring this version of Santana and Ortiz, okay? Blood and Guts, May 5th. That is not the match to bring this soft, complacent Jericho lapdogs that you've been for the past year and a half, because I promise you, with every ounce of my being, if you bring that Santana and that Ortiz, you won't make it out.
So next week, it's almost a guarantee. It's almost a guarantee that someone's career, and if we're being honest about it, someone's life is going to be shortened in blood and guts. And I've prepared my family, and I've come to terms with that. Boy, the door slams shut and that bolt locks, and I'm looking at every single one of you. You're in my world now, and I ain't afraid to die. Ortiz, you got a young son sitting at home, and Santana, you got a beautiful baby girl waiting for you. But Tuesday night, before you leave to fly here to Jacksonville, Florida for Blood and Guts, I want you to grab your kids, and I want you to hold them close, and I want you to hug them and kiss them, but lastly, what I want you to do is get down on one knee, and whisper in their ear a little message, a special message from Uncle Dax. Daddy ain't coming back home.
Hey, you know what they're doing. Don't give in. 7 days. 7 days, boys. Y'all gonna be locked in a cage with us. Y'all ever been locked up? Because we have. May 5th, I'm gonna let my hands do the talk.
Dude, give Santana Mike time, please, every single fucking week. With the little bit that he just stated, the motherfucker owned it. Santana is somebody that should get more time in AEW on the mic. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Hold on, guys. It's a parlay. Let's act like gentlemen. And as a gentleman, I'd like to say something to you, Chris. What I would like to say is thank you. Yeah. And I know you've been waiting to hear me say those 2 words for an awfully long time. Hell, you want to hear those 2 words from everybody since the inception of this company, and you have every single right to feel that way, Chris, because without you, there is no AEW. You were the top guy. You were the draw. You were the bridge for the Laps fan to come over here and check out AEW. And all the while, you also managed to create the best group in professional wrestling known as the Inner Circle. I'll give it to you. Go ahead. However, Chris, I can't imagine the pressure you must feel. Because let's face it, man, every single time you come out here, if you don't hit a home run, you're taking food out of every single man and woman's mouth
in the back. You put the company on the line every single time you come out here. I can't imagine the amount of paranoia, the amount of stress you must have, the restless nights. And by the way, Chris, we can see it every time you come out here. Your eyes are bloodshot red. You look exhausted, Chris. I guess it's true what they say, heavy lies the crown, but you don't have to worry anymore, Chris, because come next week at Blood and Guts, I'm gonna do the humane thing for you. I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna take off that heavy burden of a crown off your head and place it atop mine, and my family is going to replace the inner circle at the mountaintop here in All Elite Wrestling. But don't get it twisted, Chris. I appreciate everything you've done for this company, and that's precisely why when Blood and Guts is all said and done, and I am looking down upon your scarred up, mangled, lifeless body, I will once again utter the two words, thank you. Your spot's mine.
Okay, before we get to what Chris has to say, Dax, Harwood, Cash Wheeler, Santana Ortiz, MJF, Sammy Guevara, all did great. Sean Spears, okay. What you also noticed this week is that AEW realized that what they did last week was a massive mistake, and they did not have Wardlow or Jake Hager cut a promo in this whatsoever. Wardlow did fine, but Jake Hager last week proved why he should never have the mic again. So, here's about 3.5 minutes of Chris Jericho just killing and showing why he is still one of, if not the best in AEW or in professional wrestling on the mic.
You self-righteous, self-gratifying little prick. How dare you be so entitled to think that you can have somebody's spot just because you want it? That you can inherit a spot like you inherited the trust fund that your mommy and daddy gave you when you were 18 years old. Or maybe you think you can absorb a spot via osmosis. Or maybe it's a big Tetris game that as soon as Jericho goes left, MJF slides right in. It doesn't work that way. You want a spot? You gotta earn it. You said last week that at 25 years old, I was curtain jerking in WCW. And you're damn right I was. And damn proud of it, because that's what led me to where I am today. But what you didn't mention is that 25 years old, I'd already headlined arenas around the world in Japan and Mexico and Germany. And that's another reason why I'm here today. Because that's where I learned respect. That's where I got experience and life lessons, and that's where I earned the reputation that put me at the top of this game. If you want my spot, a good place to start earning it is by beating me in the inner circle at Blood and Guts. But you're not gonna do that because we are Blood and Guts! No! No! No, 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 no! You're not cutting my promo off! We are Blood and Guts! And you want to talk about a family? This is a family! How long have you known these jackoffs for? 3 months? This family has been part of AEW since day one! This man had my back when I was threatened assassination in Abu Dhabi in 2012!
I don't buy that for a minute, but okay.
These lapdogs are a pack of wild animals that have torn and clawed their way to the top of AEW, and I owe them for that! This man right here, I brought him personally to the inner circle, and because of you, he quit. And that's not gonna happen again. You are not gonna get in the middle of the inner circle, and you're not gonna beat us at Blood and Guts. You won't make us submit, and you are gonna have to kill us to make us surrender. You are going to have to kill us to make us surrender. And when that doesn't happen, we're gonna step on you like the pile of crap that you are, wipe our feet on the concrete, and look down at the only spot that you deserve.
And I'll finish with this. If 1969 was the summer of love, 2021 is going to be the summer of violence and pain for the Pinnacle. And next week, on May 5th at Blood and Guts, summer starts early for you.
What a fucking promo. Jericho again shows you why he is absolutely one of the best in the world still to this day. So, yeah, Blood and Guts next week. Now, for some reason, I don't understand this. Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, came on to Wrestling Observer this past weekend and said, next week's show is going to be a one-match show. That's all they're going to do is Blood and Guts, which made absolutely no sense. But we will have some more matches, and we come to what will be one of those matches next week. So, you know, Michael Nakazawa is in the ring. Fucking Eddie Kingston comes down and is like, nah, man, stop the music. I'm not going to do this sports entertainment bullshit. Kenny, get out here. Get your ass out here so we can settle this now. Kenny comes out in a nice-looking suit, looking dapper as he can be. And he's just like, no, man, you had to go to Nakazawa and all the other goons. So Nakazawa attacks him from behind. And then Eddie Kingston, it looked like he tried to back body drop Eddie Kingston. That didn't work out. So Eddie Kingston attacks him, takes him down. Nakazawa, of course, was sitting in a metal chair when Eddie Kingston came to the ring. Eddie puts the chair on his leg and says, either get in the ring or I'm going to break his fucking leg. He didn't say fucking, he said freaking, but I'm going to break his leg. Of course, Kenny Omega's like, he's like, you're going to break his leg? Well, you know what? He knew what he signed up for. Go right ahead. But you forgot, we have other goons. Cutler, get out here. You see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Cutler is thrown out beside Kenny Omega. Turns out it was Jon Moxley from behind. He attacks Kenny Omega. They beat the hell out of him. He gets him in the bully choke. Now, Omega is down. They take the chair away from Nakazawa, and they put the chair around Kenny's leg. And it's like, we either get a match next week, we want a match next week, or we're breaking his leg. Don Callis, I hope it's on. It should be on here. Yeah, it's right here. Let me get...
The chair about to be wrapped around the World Champion.
Hey, you know what to do, Pisto. You either give me Kenny, give me a tag match with Kenny, or we're breaking your Golden Boys.
Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do.
I wish they had the whole thing, but yeah. They won in the tag team match with Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa versus Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley next week. Or they were going to break his leg. And just the panic in Don Callis' voice when he's like begging for them not to break his leg. He's like, we'll make it work. And Kingston's like, it's yes or no or we break his leg. And Moxley's getting ready to run from one side of the ring to the other to break his leg. And Callis is like, yes, you can have the match. And Kingston says, see you next week. So, yes, MT Nakazawa and Kenny Omega will take on Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Should be a lot of fun. I honestly think that match is going to go with Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley beating Nakazawa. Nakazawa in that match, it could have been, why didn't you have Kenny Omega and Doc Gallows, Kenny Omega and Carl Anderson, Kenny Omega and one of the Young Bucks? Simple. You don't really want to beat Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley, and you don't want to beat Kenny Omega. Who needs to be the odd man out? Michael Nakazawa. Nakazawa takes the pinfall. Don't care who gets the pinfall. Nakazawa takes the pin, and you move on. So that's going to be one match for next week. Backstage, Taz talks about beating Hangman Adam Page, which makes Team Taz number 1. I don't know about that. But Christian comes in and he cuts a fire promo.
Say backstage here.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. First of all, we just witnessed the FTW World Champion Brian Cage beat the number 1 wrestler in the world, Hangman Adam Page. That makes Team Taz number 1. And Team Taz has some unfinished business. And that message that I sent to Christian Cage, I don't see, oh, okay. So he's just going to bow up in here. Here's the deal, man. Last week, Powerhouse Hobbs, he beat your ass from pillar to post. And he made one mistake and you capitalized. Now, you're going to have to deal with somebody else in Team Taz.
You know what? Enough of the games, all right? At one point in time, Taz, you were one of the baddest dudes to ever step foot in that ring. You talked a big game, you backed it up. You beat guys down, you submitted them, and Taz, you made it look easy. Now, present day, you still talk a big game, but the backing up part, not so much. So what did you do? You surrounded yourself with the biggest and best prospects in AEW. And when they find that success that everybody knows they're gonna find, you'll be right there. You'll be right there to bask in all those accolades like you did it yourself, just to feed your own damn ego. And now you see a guy like me, retired after 7 years. I represent everything you wish you could do. You wish you could come back. You wish you could, and you didn't, but I did. And now you want to leech off me the same way you leech off Team Taz, but I will not. I will not allow that to happen. So you go ahead. You send Team Taz one by one if you have to, because Taz, I don't believe in win or lose. I believe in win or learn. And last week, Powerhouse Hobbs, he learned a lesson. And Ricky Starks, if he gets in the ring with me, he'll learn a lesson too. And it might be a bitter pill for them to swallow, but someday they're going to realize they're better off for it. And hopefully, before it's too late, they realize they'd be a hell of a lot better off without you.
Fire promo from Christian Cage right there. And yes, I'm sure there's a little bit about Taz who wishes he could do what Christian has done in coming back from injuries. And yes, Taz got retired in the early 2000s. There's absolutely no way he's coming back from his injuries. It's just not happening. The dude, like, the things that he probably would have to go through just to get back just isn't worth the time and effort, and probably at all. So, again, fire promo for Christian. Definitely, that's where Team Taz is right now, even though, Hangman Adam Page just got beat by Brian Cage. The only thing that I can think of is that Brian Cage, they've been teasing for a while, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks coming to blows, and eventually Brian Cage probably leaving Team Taz. But it seems they've went away from that, but maybe him beating Hangman Adam Page helps bring that back. I'm not sure. And Christian Cage could be the guy to beat Brian Cage for the FTW Championship, causing him to be ousted from Team Taz. I don't have a clue. We move on to Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian versus Chris Statlander with Orange Cassidy. This is the first time we've seen Penelope Ford or Kip Sabian on TV since Arcade Anarchy. Of course, no mirror to be found. We'll talk about that here in a bit because, yeah, everything that everyone expected to happen happens later with those two. Long story short, Statlander wins. It was a decent match. Penelope Ford, I don't know what it is, but I watched this woman wrestle. She has a hesitancy to most of the stuff that she does. Now, when you see most wrestling matches started, they start with a lockup. These two women said, fuck that, we're just going to go hams. Can't go start, throwing hands at each other. Penelope Ford also got power lifted by Chris Statlander. Really awesome move right there. In the end, Ford handspring, but Statlander catches her in for the Big Bang Catastrophe. Big Bang Theory, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, as Sabian looks for distraction, but Cassidy gets there and keeps him away. We see Ten talking about Brody Lee and says he gives 10 his shot in AEW, and he'll never forget that. The TNT title is a representation of Lee, and the reason 10 is here, so winning the title would mean a lot to him. I mean no disrespect to Brody Lee, and no disrespect to any of this stuff. How is the TNT Championship a representation of Brody Lee? Brody had it for maybe 3 weeks at the most, maybe a month. I mean, I can understand if he was somebody who held the title a long time and had multiple defenses and shit, but he didn't have the title that long. So I don't get how you're going to say that title is a representation of Brody Lee. I don't see where that's at. Brody Lee held the title for 55 days. Or 46 days recognized. And defended the title maybe 3 times. Cody had it 82 days the first time, 31 days the second time, or 91 days recognized. And Darby's had it for 173 days. He's the longest reigning champion. How about that shit? In one title defense. Actually, no, he's the longest reigning champion completely. But it's like, I know they did the whole ceremony where they gave the red belt to Brody Lee Jr. just to make his day. Or make his month, because that's around the time his dad died. But I just don't understand how you continue to say Brody, like the TNT Championship was a representation of Brody Lee, when it's a brand new championship and he only held it for a very short amount of time. Honestly, if it wasn't for everything that happened with him after, which, yeah, it sucks. I honestly think that he should have, like, if it wasn't for the fact that they went with the dog collar match and everything and they held him off TV, I think he should have kept the title for a lot longer, and maybe Brody Lee should have lost the title to Darby if that would have been able to happen, but unfortunately it didn't. Anyway, the Factory, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto with Anthony Ogogo take on the Nightmare Family of Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and Billy Gunn. The Factory show up outside of Daly's place in the Nightmare Family's bus. It's emblazoned with Cody's logo and everything. How is that going to play in a role later on in the and after this match? We'll have to wait and see. This match was okay, with a really cheap finish. Ogogo trying to sell the fact that his gut punch is devastating, gives one to Lee Johnson. Gunn gets one too. He's got his ribs, his midsection taped after what happened last week. Marshall tags in, gets the pin on Johnson. Blah. Not impressed. The biggest problem I'm having with this whole Factory gimmick is the fact that QT Marshall just isn't good. He's not. Like, we always talk about who's the Marty Jannetty, who's the Shawn Michaels of the champion of their tag teams. Clearly, it was QT Marshall was the Marty Jannetty. Had those two gone on to do anything and they would have split it up normally, then QT Marshall would have been on his own. If this was any other company, QT Marshall would be like the guys on Dark, just losing matches to other stars. He'd be the one making stars instead of trying to be built as one. He just doesn't come off as a great talent in AEW. He's just there. He's a good hand. He's gonna hopefully help get Nick Comoroto, Anthony Ogogo, and others over. And hopefully Lee Johnson comes out of this as a better character. Now Comoroto grabs the bull rope, smacks Dustin in the face with it. The Factory celebrates. Marshall hangs on the top some more. Out comes Colton and Austin Gunn. They beat up on Marshall. They end up sending him to the floor and bails back to the bus. Comoroto and Solo run back to the ring and brawl with the younger guns. Marshall goes to open the door, but obviously you could see in the window, because it wasn't a solid door, there was a window. Cody's sitting right there waiting. Obviously he was probably on the bus as well, just going over what the plan was as they were making the final rotation in. He comes in, he beats the hell out of him. People, like, talent, leave the ringside area to come make a bubble around where they fight some. QT Marshall gets away with a scrape to the eyes. He climbs up on top of the bus for some fucking reason. Cody follows. Aubrey Edward follows for some fucking reason. They brawl some more. Cody gets him in the figure four, puts him in the figure four for a bit. And here's what I was hoping, because you had this big crowd of wrestlers come around to see this beatdown when they could have just watched on Titantron. But no, they came and watched this. Why didn't you have Cody grab QT and throw him over the bus into the crowd of people? Would have been great, but no, you just sit there with him posing. And next week it's been added that Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson will take on QT Marshall with the Factory. Also next week, the Faker will be in action. SCU versus Jurassic Express versus Varsity Blondes versus The Acclaimed. Winner gets an AEW Tag Team Championship match on May 12th. And the biggest match in AEW. I don't care what anyone says. This is one of the biggest matches. Jon Moxley, in 2 weeks' time, defends the IWGP United States Championship against one Yuji Nagata on May 12th. That right there is fan-fucking-tastic. Of course, Jon Moxley a couple weeks ago on Twitter, I think they did it through New Japan's Twitter account, sent out a challenge to Yuji Nagata. Let me see if I can find that on YouTube. Let me see here. I'm just going to type in Yuji Nagata. I think they put... here we go. Yeah. I got his response. I don't think they have Jon Moxley's challenge on here. But this is what Yuji Nagata said 2 weeks ago to Jon Moxley.
Did you know you can go to Liberty?
Let me put that on. Damn ads, you know. I fucking hate those. Let's try this again. This is what Yuji Nagata had to say to Jon Moxley.
Mr. Jon Moxley. この永田裕二に体制表明。
Looks like you have Yuji Nagata in your sights. It's got subtitles.
さすがに
At
強
first,
い男。
I was pleased that for you to know that you recognize who the toughest around here is.
は誰か分かってるなぁと一瞬思ったが、お前のリボルバー持ってこい。
But you want me to bring my 6-shooter.
だからお前は鼻たれ小僧なんだよ。
Listen here, you snot-nosed punk.
プロレスのリングにリボルバーなんて小道具は必要ない。
Then in the ring, in that ring, there is no need for cheap props.
裸一つで戦うのはプロレス。
In this business, we only rely on our brawn.
その辺しっかりと覚えて。
If you don't know that, maybe you need to start over at square one.
払って出直してこい。
There. So yes, Yuji Nagata coming to AEW in 2 weeks. And apparently that show is going to be live. That is in 2 weeks. And usually the second week of these things are taped. But it says tickets are on sale for that on the 7th. Which is, I think it's at the 7th. Where did Tony Khan's tweet go? I know it's on here somewhere. Where'd it go? Yeah, so that's coming up next week, in 2 weeks' time. So AEW just packing the heat. I think, and this is what's going to be crazy. Next week is huge. Next week should probably be the first time that AEW will pass Monday Night Raw in the ratings. Unless WWE, which you know that Vince McMahon's probably going to go out of his way to book something. So that, like, I can guarantee you that next week they're gonna advertise, oh, we're gonna have ourselves a Legends Night, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, or Hulk Hogan, or Ric Flair will be on Monday Night Raw for whatever reason, because they want to have a high rating. So when the Inner Circle takes on the Pinnacle, and they have a high rating, hopefully, it will be not able to pass Monday Night Raw. Yes, Tony Khan tweeted out 26 minutes ago, thank you for the amazing feedback on tonight's show. AEW on TNT, and I'm thrilled to announce that they have opened the forbidden door as Yuji Nagata will be coming to AEW to challenge Jon Moxley for the IWGP US title on a huge milestone for both companies. Tickets on sale 5/7, 2 days after Blood and Guts. So that show is going to be live. That's great. Cannot wait to see Yuji Nagata take on Jon Moxley in 2 weeks. So, we go backstage. Kip's is like, I don't know what you guys are doing. Everything's fine. He walks in to see Miro, who looks like he has an apple, and
I have no idea why you guys seem to think this is such a big deal. Everything's fine.
How about you just give him an apple? Show him how much more of an asshole he is.
I know you've been...
And he just throws him against the steel door. Again and again. Throws him into a locker. Again. Big punch. Oh.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's time to pay your dues. It's time to pay your dues. You ready, man?
I'm sorry.
You ready?
I'm sorry.
Oh, just smashed his arm in the doorway.
I forgive you.
He just held him he just wrapped his head around him and says, "Now I can forgive you." Wow. I think that's the end of that partnership. It's been a long time coming. It's been needed since the wedding's been over. The whole thing should have been done after the wedding, but there you go. Sabian looks like the partnership is done. Then we moved to Darby Allin versus 10 for the TNT Championship. I will say the match was really good. I'm just sick of these endings. There's a point where Ethan Page shows up as Sting is backing the Dark Order off because Darby Allin they dive to the outside, taking out 10 and 5. Poor 5. He's just the body bag. He's like the guy who's just gonna get beat down and attacked by everybody. And he's like the guinea pig for the Dark Order. But Ethan Page takes Darby Allin, throws him into the steel ring post while everyone's distracted, throws him into the ring. 10 gets in and is like, "What happened? Who did this?" Dark Order says, "Don't worry about it, just take advantage of this." So okay, he does. He goes, tries to win the match, gets the full Nelson on. Gets like the full Nelson on. Darby Allin is struggling. This just has got to stop. Goes on top of the ring, climbs up the ring, like the turnbuckles, falls backwards, gets just enough leverage on 10, 1, 2, 3, and wins the match. I am sick and tired of Darby Allin's title reign. It's over. I'm tired of it. I'm done. It needs to be taken off of him. Absolutely. Now, one thing you notice tonight is that towards the end of the match, he actually goes for 10's mask and starts ripping it. This guy's supposed to be a babyface, but he's using underhanded tactics to try and get an advantage. But after the match, 10 comes in the ring, helps Allin up. Allin takes his Brody wristband off and holds it up. 10 nods and gives him a quick hug before exiting. Ethan Page comes back to distract. Scorpio Sky is from behind a cheap shot Sting. Both Page and Sky beat up Sting and Allin Sky with the heel hook on Sting as he holds it back. Page holds back Allin. Lance Archer runs out to help make the save. Page and Sky quickly bolt from the ring as the show comes to a close. Obviously, it looks like the first match in the ring Sting's going to have is Sky and Page versus Darby Allin and Sting. But I'm so sick and tired of these Darby Allin finishes. They did the same thing with Jungle Boy last week. You had Darby Allin do it this week with 10. It's got to stop. He needs to win. How many times can you have Darby Allin win by the skin of his teeth? Just get that, oh, he overcomes all the odds. Not every single fucking time. Just take the title off of him. Whoever he faces next needs to beat him, plain and simple. Other than that, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed almost everything. There was a couple things, like I said, Hangman Adam Page getting beat the way he did, not agreeing with that. But yeah, really good show other than that. And next week is going to be the big show. Hopefully there's not going to be any fake presidential shit going on like they did tonight. That's definitely going to take, I think they're going to have a drop tonight because you had the fake president talking to Congress tonight. So that's going to get eyeballs by a lot of people. So I expect them to lose, but next week is going to be a big show. They have to deliver a good fucking War Games type match because if they drop the ball there, things are going to go bad. But that is your AEW review. Definitely a solid show. They are just fighting on. They're just running on all cylinders now. Hopefully things will be even better next week. But that's all. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/France Club. And find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Friday for SmackDown. Until then, my name is France. And I'll see you guys later.